So hey, what's up everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna attempt the 100 floors challenge, which Dream recently attempted in his latest video. So this is quite simple. We'll be attempting the 100 floors challenge in Demon Slayer, Minecraft. Our goal is to basically, complete all of the 100 floors and beat them all. I'll be attempting this challenge with my friend Pyronade, whose Minecraft username is not a turf. And yeah, every 5th floor there's a boss battle, and so now let's begin. On floor 1, me and Pyro both had only netherite swords, and our goal was to kill a demon who was quite fast and did a lot of damage. He was instantly aggroed onto me, and me and Pyro were trying to get him aggro onto Pyro and then onto me so we can easily kill him. I quickly got low though, so Pyro had to take care of the demon then. Me and Pyro then acquired armor and we ranked up to first rank. The next floors were easy until floor 5, which was our first boss battle against Lower Moon 5 Kamine. I also had the wind sword and Pyro had the thunder sword. We tried to fight him, but let's just say it didn't end well for either of us. Yep, we were too weak. We somehow managed to beat him, and then it was floor 10, which was Rui and his entire family. Now we were way stronger compared to how strong we were at Kamine, but we still died once, and eventually we were able to beat him, and we got the Hashira rank. So we were pretty strong now, so Lower Moons weren't a threat for us at all now. The other floors were easy, but on floor 24 there were tons of goldfishes. I don't know why I found it interesting enough to mention it in the video, but yeah, I found it interesting enough. They were all aggroed onto me, with a small portion being aggroed onto Pyro, and I was easily able to take care of all of them. I also received 80 damage. The next floor was floor 25, which was against the entire Kamaboko squad, aka the goddamn main characters. Me and Pyro were demons during this floor, and we were managed to beat them. On floor 30, it was against Kaigaku, upper rank 6, the lowest upper rank. I had the Zenitsu sword and Pyro had the Thunder sword. The battle began, and he was instantly aggroed onto Pyro and was doing a lot of damage to him, so I had to step in for backup. I was trying to get away and then dash at him because Zenitsu sword only has dash moves, but my weak server couldn't handle the dash move, so I was being teleported back to where I performed the dash move and was doing 0 damage. So yeah, that was pretty bad. I was dying to Kaigaku due to his wither effect, so I instantly had to switch to my moon sword. Yep, I attempted another time, to get another sword, and I got the moon sword. Eventually Pyro TP'd back to me, and together we were able to beat him. On floor 34, we fought all of the lower ranks. 2 lower ranks of every lower rank. It was very laggy at first, and I quickly took a ton of damage because there's still lower ranks and there are hell a lot of them. Me and Pyro were trying to kill them all, and the server was lagging a lot, so my moves were rendering very slowly and sometimes not at all. Eventually it was only Rui left, and after we killed Rui, it was only lower rank 2 Hyro left. The dog guy. What a dog doing? And we were able to beat him quite easily. I'm saying easily cause he took a lot of hits to die, but yeah, other than that, he was pretty easy to beat. Then there was floor 35. It was against upper rank 6 Daki. But first, there were 4 sword options for us. I went with the Tanjiro sword and Pyro went with Uzui sword. Daki was not that difficult as she wasn't doing a lot of damage to either of us, plus she was quite weak. Well, that all was gonna change pretty soon since Gyutaro came out, and he was doing damage left and right, and his poison was also a big factor. He was mainly aggroed onto Pyro, so I was able to get good hits on him while he was chasing Pyro. Daki's head was cut off, so all we need to do was kill Gyutaro, and we would have won. We were chasing around Gyutaro as I couldn't, fight him because he was chasing Pyro, but eventually we were able to beat him. It was then floor 40 where we fought Tengen Uzui. He was quickly aggroed on to me for some goddamn unknown reason, but Pyro was able to do a lot of damage to him. His moves did do a quite lot of recoil and sometimes launch me up in the air, but it wasn't a big deal and we were easily able to finish him off. And then on floor 45, he fought our next Upper Moon 5 Gyutaro. This time I was using Muichiro Tokito's Mist Sword. Yeah, the Mist Hashira guy, who always forgets everything. This was surprisingly easy somehow, since I thought he had multiple forms, but his second form died pretty quickly. On floor 50, we went up against 3 Muichiros, who all quickly aggroed onto me, with one being aggroed onto Pyro. They were quite fast and were doing damage to me quickly. Although thanks to us two, they weren't able to aggro onto one that quickly, but Pyro and me got into a corner, so they were able to do damage to both of us pretty easily. At one point, I was very low, but still trying to help Pyro, so I couldn't go all out since I was so low, but eventually we were able to beat them. On floor 55, we fought 4 Mitsuri Kanrojis, the love Hashira, also known as the best Hashira. Yep, I am a Mitsuri simp, cry about it. They were not that easy for me, at least, since they were all aggroed onto Pyro. I mean, they were all easy for me, since they were aggroed on Pyro, but Pyro was having a hard time, since at many points he was low and at one point he even died once. This was because Mitsuri's attacks have a lot of range and coverage. Yep, quick thing to note if you ever played this mode about Mitsuri's attack. We then fought Huntingdu, upper rank 4, who divided into 4, and we were pretty easily able to, get him to turn into 1 again. Although this was easy, usually this would have been hard, cause his one lightning strike move does a lot of damage and he can spam it, but I later found out that due to the cube we were fighting in, the cube is also, basically the area we're fighting in, he wasn't able to perform his lightning move. Basically, the lightning was being blocked by the roof. So yeah, it was a pretty easy fight overall. On floor 65, we fought our next battle against 4 Rengokus. Yep, we were about to pull an Akaza and give these Rengokus the donut. They were all aggroed onto me for some reason, and they all did a lot of damage with their Flame Tiger. At one point I tried to go into game mode creative, but it was really not that useful. I then TP'd to Pyro, who was doing quite good against the Rengokus himself, but he was also quite low. They were all aggroed onto him at once, with some of them being in their final form, in which they performed their 9th form Rengoku, which does a lot of damage. Thankfully, none of us got hit by that form, or move should I call it, so it went pretty smoothly. On floor 70, we fought the Donut Boy himself, Akaza, and some of his friends. I was using the Rengoku sword, while Pyro was using Tanjiro's sword, and was using Sun Breathing. They didn't do a lot of damage far away, but if we got too close, they could easily stack up on damage. But we were able to damage them quite quickly, and they eventually got into their last form, where they basically commit suicide. Yeah, that's what you get for killing Rengoku. We then fought in floor 75. This time it was against 3 Shinobus and 3 Kanai. For those of you who don't know who Kanai is, she's Shinobu's sister. I don't think that would help you at all in your life, but good to know, I guess. They were quite easy to beat, as somehow me and Pyro didn't get poisoned once by Shinobu, and Kana is not that difficult. On floor 80, he fought multiple Domas. He couldn't perform his strongest move, which was the Ice Buddha, so it was easy beating him. Although not for the fact that his ice was still pretty annoying and could stack up on damage real quick. Me and Pyro had one Doma cornered and it was quite easy, but eventually he broke out of the corner and it was hard mode again. We were all using our normal swords, since the only swords allowed would have been Inosuke's, Shinobu, Kana and Kanai's, which all suck. On floor 85 we were gonna fight a few Tomiokas and a few Iguros, and somehow Pyro got in one Shinobu, which was annoying. I didn't notice at first, but she poisoned me multiple times. Damn you, Pyro. We were able to kill a few Iguros and Tomiokas, but eventually Pyro dealt with them all. We then fought a couple of Himejimas and a couple of Shinazuagas, who, by the way, are the two strongest Hashiras. This fight was quite tough and we both died, but eventually despawned. We then fought Upper Moon 1. I was gonna use Himejima's sword and Pyro was using Muichiro's sword, the Mist Hashira's sword. And this fight was tough to say the least. Kokushibo could easily stack up on damage and Pyro didn't know how to use the Mist sword properly, and my attacks could do a lot of damage, but they weren't really suited to fight Kokushibo. I died once and then we fought him again. We were trying our hardest while Pyro and I were trying our hardest, but Kokushibo's sword and his attacks have a lot of range, can hit multiple people at once, and did I mention the fact that they can do a lot of damage. So yeah, most of the fight, one of us was going to run away and heal while the other one was going to distract Kokushibo. This strategy would have worked if not for the fact Kokushibo aggroes onto one specifically, and it's usually the guy who's going to heal. Eventually I was able to get Kokushibo in his second form, which is even worse since his long range is now to a whole nother level and he can basically hit us from a mile away while we're healing. And did I mention that he can still hit multiple people at once? Pyro quickly died to the second Kokushibo in his second form. I kind of got a voice crack, but yeah, this was a very unpleasant experience to say the least. Particles flying everywhere, my server lagging, and basically time moving a few seconds later for me. We were trying our hardest to beat Kokushibo, but at one point it seemed like giving up was the better option. But of course we had to beat this challenge and I needed to get this video out as well, so we couldn't give up. Our goal was to get Kokushibo in his third form, since after that it would all be easy, since his first and second form are the main problems. We were trying our hardest to stack up on damage, me in particular just trying to melee him since my melee does a total of 18 damage, and couple that with the strength I have thanks to the Hashira perks and the Demon Slayer mark, we can do a lot of damage to him. Eventually I let Pyro do the main work and tried to stay in the corner, but again his long range and AoE was proving to be a major factor in him basically dominating the entire fight. Yep, eventually got him to the third form, and in this small area his third form was quite deadly, and eventually we got him into the fourth form, which was the easiest to beat. We then went to floor 99, which was against Kibutsuji Muzan, the Demon King himself. I was using Igoro's sword, the Serpent Hashira, and Pyro was using the Wind Hashira sword. We were trying our hardest to beat this Michael Jackson copy, and we were doing good at first, until he hit me and I noticed how much damage he could do. Note we're all wearing protection armor, and he was still basically moonwalking our health. He eventually got into his second form, which was even bad news since now he could hit both of us at the same time and do even more damage. Couple that on with the poison, and me and Pyro were having a real tough time dealing with Mr. Michael Jackson copy here. Thankfully Pyro had set up a bed now here, so it was quite easy to just quickly get back into the fight. Pyro was trying to just long range and cheese this fight without doing any effort, but nah, I need the content. I can't just have content of one guy spamming 9th form in the entire video. I was trying to do some damage and quickly get out using my 5th form, but that wasn't a good idea since his, what do I even call them, tentacles, could do a AoE attack which basically blocked all my attacks. Eventually he used this strongest attack, his shock attack, which basically makes us unable to use our moves, and we slowly died, and it does a lot of damage, so yeah, it's quite OP. Pyro and me were trying our hardest to beat him, but it was quite futile. Eventually he killed both me and Pyro at the same time, and it was looking very bad for us. But do you think that was all the bad that could happen? Then Pyro went AFK. Or didn't go AFK, he just disconnected, and that was the point. It really was the bad part. It was the bad part. I was alone to deal with this monster, and he wasn't. Let me just tell you, he wasn't even at his half health yet. He wasn't even at his half health. So it was really bad for me. I tried contacting Pyro, so I also was AFK for a while, but he basically disconnected. The best explanation I have is his internet went away. Best and only explanation I have actually, and that was the correct explanation. His internet did go away. Eventually, Muzan enters his final form, in which he looks grotesque, and what can I say? He does a lot of damage. Again, this man is OP. Eventually, I decided to use the third sword. I mean, the other sword I have, Tanjiro sword, since it looked like the best way to finish this off this guy, and it was better compared to the Eagle sword. I tried to do all the forms like in the conjunction in order because yep, I felt it was the only right thing to do. Tanjiro beating Muzan using all forms at once. I died at Dragon Sun Halo Head Dance and activated my Demon Slayer mark and went into the fight again. I still had the goal of performing all the moves one after another, and I was doing pretty good at it. And eventually, with Fire Wheel, I was able to beat him. On floor 100, Pyro picked the path of a Demon Slayer and equipped the heart of Kibutsuji Muzan. He. Yep. Or what can I even say? I picked the part of a demon though. So yep. I'm now gonna drink some Muzan blood and acquire my blood demon arts. And the fight began between me and Pyro. I immediately used the Muzan ankle breaking move and was spamming Kokushibo's sword. I then launched him up with my tentacles, and then what can I say? What can I even say? He became Jesus while wearing Muzan's hat, which was stolen from Michael Jackson. I think for that sight I need a subscribe, a like and a comment. So yeah, that was it. I managed to beat the 100 floors challenge. Like, sub and share.